Welcome to On the Chain. This is Chip. You are here. All of us together, the OTC fam tonight. Gary Gensler finally is going to face some music. I don't think it's going to be the good kind of music. I think it's going to be the kind of music nobody really wants to talk about or hear about. But anyway, he's going to be facing the red team. Also, too, some big news, Ripple news. Ripple inks another deal with another country, actually another country that I've actually been to. Very fond of this country as well. We'll get into that. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff too. And we do have a launch date for the Badass Yetis. We'll get into that. We'll talk about where we're going to be launching that. You guys ready to get this puppy started? And where's Jeff? Don't worry. Jeff's on his way. He's on his way to the studio. He's in a remote location. He'll be joining us in just a little bit. But let's get started. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Oh, Jeff, are you ready to come in here? I see you pop in the studio. You good? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right, good. Let's bring Jeff in. Jeff, what's up, dude? Where are you?
What is going on?
It's been a blessed. Well, just as I was getting ready to go live, Jeff, I'll tell you what's going on. Lights started flickering, and I lost my internet twice. And what's up, Aaron?
No.
Aaron's interrupting the broadcast.
Aaron has a question.
No.
He has a question.
No, me personally.
Oh, all right.
What's the question, man? Let's hear it. What's the question? Oh, okay, I think he just muted himself there. Okay.
Yeah,
He wanted to know
123,
if 120 pounds was bad.
124.
124?
Yeah.
124 is good.
Okay. Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's all
Might
good,
need to
man.
gain a little muscle.
Why are you so?
Then you'll be good.
You're coming in so hot, man. Hot on the ears here. I think you're kind of overmodulated today. Yeah.
Yes.
Very hot. I was like, whoa, blow my eardrums out over here. So guys, thanks for being here. Drop the city, the country where you are from, where you're coming in today. We'll start throwing some of that stuff up there and we'll get this show on the road. There's so much to talk about, Jeff, but
How about that? I can adjust the mic volume down.
that's actually better. I don't know what you got there, but that seems like a pretty good thing. I want to start with this story here. And just because it's a good one and it's fun and everything else, I got to find the other bit of this, though. Here's the weird thing. I got to find. There we got to find the other part of this. And always fun when you're trying to like fumble around and do stuff. There almost wasn't going to be a show tonight, right, Jeff? We almost couldn't put it together. So it was almost like one of these things where it just, yeah, almost.
Man, I went to H Mart for dinner tonight.
I don't know that place.
Freaking amazing.
Where is it? Where's it located?
Store.
Yeah.
It's here in Sterling Heights. Really good.
Sterling Heights. Know that place well. Okay. All right. Let's jump into something here. Yeah, we're kind of
today.
So, Oscar Arneson, who's always in here. I don't even know if he's in here now. I hope he's in here now. He's not always watching, but he is in Iceland, so it might be pretty late there, and he may not be watching. But what I wanted to show here is I wanted to start off this with this. Here we go. Okay, everything's messed up today. I'm trying to really, let's see. There we go. So Oscar put this thing up here. He said, hey, XRP community, and anyone who sees this, that would be you or the XRP community or anybody. And he's saying, hey, hit the like and you get a custom drink named after you. It's pretty simple. I also do non-alcoholic drinks. The first drink is called Berry Judgment. I like that. Summary Judgment, Berry Judgment. And this is what it looks like, just like that. A stellar drink.
It looks pretty good.
Right?
What's in it?
I don't know what's in this particular one. I don't think he got into the details on this one, but he just had a like and ask him if you wanted to drink. And this is probably from last week. We've been trying to get to this, Jeff, but for some reason we haven't been able to get to it. And then he said, stand aside. Okay, look at this one right here. This one here, stand aside because this one is only for real men. Introducing the Chip. It's a robust and flavorful whiskey bourbon cocktail that's perfect for the American manly man. The luxurious libation features a masterful blend of smooth and bold whiskey bourbon, a hint of sweet and tangy maple syrup, and just a splash of aromatic bitters, touch of fragrant orange peel. Served on the chain. The chip entices you to savor the rich and complex flavors that are truly indulgent and masculine freedom indulging cocktail. Now, whether you're relaxing by the fire or exercising your right to open carry, the chip is the perfect cocktail for those who appreciate the bold, the refined flavors of a classic whiskey bourbon cocktail. And look at this. Look at that beauty right there, Jeff.
Man,
Little
it looks
American
amazing.
flag in the background. Big
It
old
looks
chip.
amazing. Look at that.
Doesn't it? So I
Man.
was very impressed with this. This is very good. El Jefe, you in Michigan? Ferdy's coming in from Montenegro. Oh, there you go. Montenegro. What's up, Ferdy? I haven't seen Ferdy around in forever and a day. I haven't talked to Ferdy in forever and a day. So here you are. You see this.
Ferdy went.
Yeah, we don't know. He disappeared off the face of the earth. And then we've got this one over here. Everybody, please move to the other side of the bar. This one is not to be messed with. Behold the Rising Jeff. It's a bold, powerful cocktail inspired by the mythical creature that is, Jeff. Featuring a captivating arrangement of orange, deep oceanic blue, green, and red layers, served in a rugged, man-made glass. This powerful libation showcases a base of smooth amber whiskey with the rich, mysterious blue-green hue reminiscent of the ocean depths, representing an intense fusion of premium spiced rum. The red layer adds a fiery touch with a dash of spirited cinnamon liqueur, embodying the legendary YouTube's host's majestic accent from the ashes of the bear market. This is masterful, I have to say. The contrasting layers artfully embrace two large rocks of ice, symbolizing the elemental forces of fire and ice in perfect harmony. Ignited, oh yeah, with a burst of flame to unleash its untamed spirit, the Rising Jeff offers a thrilling and unforgettable taste experience that will ignite the senses and awaken the fear adventurer within, served on the chain. And look at that bad boy, Jeff. Whoa.
Whoa, look at that.
Sucker's on fire, man.
Man, you got to like that.
Bring the fire. Fire
and ice.
Fire.
Sounds like
you got to love the fire, Jeff. That's a nice drink. So Oscar, big shout out to Oscar. Let me say this. Arnerson, probably butchering that.
Oscar Armerson.
Oscar Arneson. Yeah, nice. Oscar's big OG here on the chain. So that was really a fun thing. And there's a whole bunch of other drinks, but they don't matter, Jeff. Let's be honest.
None of them matter. Those two.
The only two that matter are the ones you created for us, because otherwise there's no relevance.
Man, I dropped my glasses.
I thought you dropped your beer, spilled your beer. So that's that, guys. Let's see what else we got here. K-Hud's in here tonight. Got Flare, Coinbase. Finally, yeah, we got to talk about that. That's good to talk about. I mean, we've been talking about it. Got to be patient, but it does end up happening, Jeff. So let me get into these other ones here, Jeff. Let me see what's going on. That was a good one. Let's jump into this next story, Jeff. Let's get your thoughts on this one.
All right.
Let's see. So Monica Long, you know her as the president. I think is she the president? She is the president of Ripple. El Presidente. She says, we're excited to partner with the Central Bank of Montenegro as they explore practical applications of a CBDC or a national stablecoin. Jeff, what is the difference there?
Interesting. It's interesting that she's partnering with the Central Bank of Montenegro, and Ferdy is in Montenegro.
That seems there. Is that a coincidence? I don't think there's any coincidence there, Jeff. Is he secretly I think he's on the take with Ripple. I think there's something going on there. He may be inking that last little deal there. It's hard to know exactly what's going on, but so a CBDC,
utility, efficiency, security, and most importantly, privacy.
Right, which is programmable. Then you got the national stablecoin. Maybe that's something different. Doesn't have the programmability. But I love the fact that it's utility, efficiency, security, and most importantly, privacy to end users, and to address the financial inclusion, and what she was basically talking about. I've been to Montenegro, man. I had some good stories about Montenegro, Jeff. Let's see. She quoted the tweet here, but here it is. Montenegro Central Bank to test the CBDC with Ripple. Central Bank will identify the practical application of a digital currency come up with a design to stimulate its circulation. Jeff, what kind of design are they actually doing here to create this coin, this token?
Looks very cool.
What are they doing? I mean, it's like we're going to come up with the identity and a practical application. You just, I mean, is it that difficult to create? I mean, how difficult is this?
To create a central CBDC.
Yeah. So it says Central Bank of Montenegro, or CBCG. CBCG is creating a CBDC. Interesting. Plans to develop a pilot program for the central bank. Ripple even uses the euro as its de facto currency. Oh, okay.
All right.
Central bank, that's also on the headline. So the project will analyze the advantages and risks of CBDCs or national stablecoins could pose concerning electronic means of payments, availability, security, efficiency. Man. Montenegro is not a member of the European Union. Good move. One of the other reasons I really love Montenegro. It's a beautiful country. I think that means Black Mountain is what that translates, right next to Croatia.
Down the wrong path.
I actually flew into Croatia and then drove down took a ferry, cut out a lot of time, and drove down to the beautiful, man, especially on the water there. Gosh, phenomenal little countryside there. So that's interesting. More than 100 countries are exploring the possibilities of issuing a CBDC. The only one I think we know about, Jeff, is who? China, right?
China.
I think that's the only one we know. China. That may be the only one we're aware of here. I don't know. Good evening, slackers. Geez, he's coming in here hot. Jimmy D is coming in hot tonight.
Good evening, slackers.
Good evening, slackers. Other like gentlemen or people or, but no, man, he's just totally coming in hot there. I don't know.
Check that out from Gray Man.
What's Gray Man saying? Boom, there's Gray Man. Gray Man, boo, what's up, Chip? Thank you. And the other dude.
And the other dude.
What's up, other dude? The other dude, he just reads
Chip
Gray Man.
The other dude.
Comments. Appreciate that. What's up? Thank you, Gray Man, for that. And then Gray Man again. Talk about coming in hot. He says, how do I get a badass Yeti? Well, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
Man, you know what? I love Gray Man. Gray Man is like, right, just producing the show tonight. Just like, and obviously this was not planned. People are like, oh, yeah. And be like, hang on a second. Let me just text Gray Man over here. Gray Man, send another tweet, send another message and say, where do I get one of those badass Yetis?
That's right.
No, that's not happening.
Today's show is brought to you by the Badass Yetis.
Yeah, soon to be brought to you by the Badass Yetis. Look at the badass with the $2 signs. I like the way you think, man. I like the way you think. We're going to do another story or two, then we'll circle back with that. But I actually like what's going on here, Jeff. Check this out. This is good. And I was kind of wondering, you know, Wyoming, we've always talked about Wyoming being ahead of the curve here in the U.S. as far as decentralization, being on that train. You're laughing at something. I don't know what you're laughing at.
Oh, Sophie said, looks like the other dude got locked out.
Yeah, the other dude got locked out of the studio. Dude, you know, you have to bring your fob. You got it.
This is actually a garage door.
Is it?
The door into the garage.
Porch. It's funny, Jeff, because here down,
the only place I could go where it was quiet.
Well, it's bright. So I can tell you're somewhere where it's bright because where I am right now, it's pitch dark pretty much all day. It's been raining for 3 days straight. Yeah, nasty.
It was 82 here today.
It's only 71 here today, Jeff.
Man.
Rainy, windy. Wyoming defends crypto-friendly bank charter regime in Custodia Bank's lawsuit. And you know Custodia Bank, you'll know the person that started Custodia Bank, who's been very
cool. Yeah, in a great state of Wyoming.
The great state of Wyoming here.
They have a buffalo on their flag.
Gotta love that, man. So the U.S. state of Wyoming has requested to intervene in the case between Custodia Bank and the Federal Reserve System, seeking to defend its framework, allowing certain crypto firms to qualify for state chartered banks. Let me get rid of this stupid message. There we go. On April 10th, a court filing, Wyoming Attorney General Bridger Hill filed a motion to intervene in the defense of the state's regulation of special purpose depository institutions, SBDs, DIs. Custodia called it Avanti, At the time, it was the first financial institution to be approved for a bank charter under the SPDI framework in October.
Approved.
Custodio filed a lawsuit against the Federal Reserve and its Kansas City arm in June of 2020 for delays in approving the bank's application for a master account, which facilitates an institution's ability to make international transfers as well as functions. And then January 2023, the Fed officially rejected the bank's application, saying it was inconsistent with required factors, under the law, Jeff.
Hmm.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this Custodia thing, man? Do you think this is an interesting thing or what?
I do think it's interesting.
You're really light on the commentary tonight, Jeff.
it says that the Kansas City Fed provided Custodia makes clear that its view of perceived inadequacies in Wyoming's laws and regulations for SPDs is partially responsible for its denial. The state of Wyoming believes that this changes the tenor of the suit and in turn questions the legitimacy and viability of the state statutory framework. Man,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's going on right now. And it's interesting that we're seeing states step up in different ways, right? We're seeing the overzealousness and the overreach in the state of New York by an AG and some other crazies. We're starting to see, other states like in Massachusetts, potentially because of their senator, Elizabeth Pocahontas, who is taking a very strong stance against digital assets. But then we're seeing people in states, senators, and actually bills being presented in states like Texas that want to issue a gold-backed digital currency for Texas.
Yeah.
And then you have the governor of the one and only, the greatest state in the union, the state of Florida, Governor DeSantis, pushing and promoting a bill to block CBDCs from functioning within the state of Florida. So you start seeing some amazing things happening. It's crazy to me, Chip, that in parallel, you have members of the blue team that are promoting a digital dollar in CBDCs with control mechanisms baked in. And members of the red team are looking for a decentralized, functional financial system that is inclusive of all people to protect the privacy and the rights of individual Americans. And I think that's a very distinct difference. And they also want to bring about the financial viability and the financial stability of individuals. If you see a gold-backed digital currency that's promoted in a bill in Texas, that's a big deal. Versus, having the bickering across states over, is the CBDC, are they going to allow it? Are they not going to allow it? Timing. Chip, I don't think there's any such thing as a coincidence. So the timing of everything lining up with the financial collapse that's going on a global scale, the rise of the BRICS nation and led by China rolling out a more powerful digital yuan, and country by country deciding they want to leave the US dollar as the reserve currency and the trade currency. It puts us in a very interesting, precarious position, but it also sets the stage for the people to get their freedoms back and the power into the hands of the people based on their financial status.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There really is a lot to unpack there, Jeff. I mean, quite honestly, and something you just brought up. This is gonna be like the next story, because I want to get into this as we finish up with this story here. But just so you guys, if you guys don't know, Custodia Bank, which was Avante, was founded by Caitlin Long, and Caitlin Long's been incredibly vocal, and I just love this. She's one of the few people out there that is standing up and truth telling, like slaying with the truth, right? Throwing those truth darts. And I think she's ruffling some feathers, Jeff. I can't be 100% sure, but it sounds to me like people aren't really liking her mouthing off. And I see her on podcasts. Love to get Caitlin along on here, because
That'd be great.
she doesn't care. She gives, as Alex D Vlogs would say, gives a 0 Fs there, for sure. Thank you, Alex D Vlogs, LFG. I don't give an F what you do with your XRP. So there you go. There you go. Appreciate that, Alex D. But if you think about it, I mean, Caitlin Long, she's been fighting this whole thing, and they're coming up with like these nitpicking things. It's like choke point. Oh, it's a bank. Oh, I'm sorry, the charter. And, they're always trying to find some kind of a thing going on here. But this custodial stands firm response to the Fed, and the Fed Reserve is absolutely on its way out. I'm 100% convinced of that. So historic bank runs in the last 2 weeks underscore the dire need for fully solvent banks that are equipped to serve fast-changing industries in the era of rapidly improving technology. This exact model proposed by Custodia to hold $1.08 in cash to back every dollar deposited by customers. Unfortunately, I should say, the Federal Reserve took its eye off the ball and allowed bank runs risks to build. So this whole thing is just like really criticizing and hammering the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is really out of its jurisdiction as far as I can see in this story. But, kudos to Caitlin Long for standing up and throat punching and not bending the knee to the Federal Reserve, which is a useless organization that's overstayed its welcome by about 100 years, Jeff. It should have failed about 100 years ago, but here we are.
Here we are.
Let's get into this other story. 3 congressmen introduced the gold standard bill to stabilize the dollar's value.
Look at that.
This came out a bit ago, but this is as America faces the threats of inflation and bank failures, 3 congressmen introduced the pivotal sound money bill that would enable the Federal Reserve note dollar to regain stable footing for the first time in more than half a century. Alex Mooney, Red Team, joined by Reps Andy Biggs, Red Team, and Paul Gosar. Why is the Red Team always proposing solutions here, Jeff? Why are they like looking to like go back to gold back? And it's like, do you have this massive like clash going on in Washington?
I'll tell you what, Chip, it's kind of like we always talk about that there are projects that are being built to solve problems. And there's always those projects that are being built that are in search of problems to solve. So the Red Team is actually creating bills to solve problems, whereas the Blue Team creates bills to create problems to solve. Think about that.
I think you're something spot on. As all of a sudden your lighting shifted just like in the very like last like 5 minutes. I was like, Jeff, I can't even see you. I went from like Jeff's like in the brightest daylight ever to being like, we're losing you, man. We're losing.
I don't know what happened all of a sudden. I'm gonna have to go look for a new location.
Upon passes of HR, see, this is a stepping stone, but again, let's get rid of the Federal Reserve. It's not a sovereign U.S. dollar. I think once we move to a sovereign U.S. dollar and it becomes strong, when people actually see, so everyone's off doing their thing and running off to China, and everyone's like bricks. But here's the thing: go ahead, run, go ahead and hide. You want to go ahead and be backed by China? Go ahead. I'm sure it's going to all work out pretty well.
China.
However, when we get gold backed over here and we actually go to a sovereign currency, which I think will happen in the next 2 to 5 years, it'd be funny how everybody be running back. And there's some nations right now that are like, you know what? I'm just going to hang out here and wait and see. They don't want to make the jump. They don't want to do it. But hey, if you think it's a good idea, I suggest you make the run. I don't know if it pans out. I don't know if it all works out that well when you know some of the nations that are involved, Jeff. I don't know if they have the best intentions of everybody in mind.
Hey, remove me for a second so I go look for lighting.
All right, there you go. Jeff is out of here. I've removed him. He's going to look for some light. He's in search of light right now. So Federal Reserve notes would become fully redeemable and exchangeable with gold at the new price, with the U.S. Treasury and the gold reserves backstopping Federal Reserve banks as a guarantor. So monetary experts have noted a return to gold standard would substantially curtail the economic damage caused by inflation, runaway federal debt, and the monetary system instability. A gold standard would protect against Washington's irresponsible spending habits. I love that. They're irresponsible spending habits and the creation of money out of thin air, said Rep. Mooney in a statement. And prices would also be shaped by the economics rather than the instincts of bureaucrats. No longer American families, businesses, and the economy as a whole be in the mercy of the Federal Reserve and the reckless Washington spenders. This hits home to a lot of people, especially living in the U.S. And what they call it the Gold Standard Restoration Act can make several findings that the harm of Federal Reserve system is inflicted on everyday Americans, particularly since President Richard Nixon I hate to say, was part of the red team, temporarily suspended, which lasted for 51 years. The gold standard, actually 52 now. At these, it was 19. Was it 74? Maybe. Okay, we're coming on 71. Okay, yeah, we're 52 years in. And Nixon took us temporarily suspended because they made up this amazing story. Jeff, let me pull you back in here. It looks like Jeff, still move on the move, or you let me know when you're set. You're still in the move. Okay, when he gets set up there. And so he said, yeah, there's a lot of speculators in the market. And this is the kind of stuff you bought in 1971 because you were just too busy like working and providing your family. And there's like three channels in the US. There was ABC, NBC, and CBS. And at between 6 and 6:30, they gave you the news. And that was it. Whatever they wanted to shovel down your throat, you were like, yeah, okay, I guess that's what's going on. Because it was only one way. And that was the propaganda that was going. And they said, oh my God, there's speculators in the market. So what? Right? How would that have changed anything? It's the dumbest excuse I've ever heard. And nobody just said like, hey, that doesn't make sense. No one thought that's kind of a weird excuse. But then, 52 years later, Jeff, give me a thumbs up when you're set. All right, he's back in here. There he is.
How's that? Is it too dark?
It's a podcast for a lot of people. You don't
It's
see
quiet in here.
I can kind of see you. Guess they don't have light where you're at, but that's okay.
I'm in the car.
Oh, there
I
you
feel
go.
like
So,
Alex D over here.
Alex D's in the car.
Alex
Except
D vlogs.
when he's in the car, you can actually see him. So there he is. That's that. There's
I
that
figured I had a
distinction,
little bit
Jeff.
of lighting. I don't know what the deal is. I just sit over here under the light.
So
There should be some lighting in here.
2435
So
points out the Federal Reserve note has lost more than 40% of its purchasing power since 2000. I think that's an understatement. 97% of its purchasing power since the passage of the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. So that pretty much you can read it, forget about everything else. That last paragraph basically tells you the Federal Reserve is bad. It's not sovereign. It's a bunch of unelected bureaucrats running the show and running the U.S. and every other country central bank. Look at what Lagarde's doing over there in where is that country? What is she? The European Central Bank. It's incredible.
That's right.
Look at this, man.
Okay,
Great night tonight. Gray Man is bringing it. Look at Gray Man. He says, red team, blue team, same team. It's all political theater. Well, it is political theater to a certain degree, but I would say that
political theater.
If it's political theater, then why is it only coming from one side? Why is that? And if it's political theater, why was inflation 1.6% just 2 years ago? That's some pretty solid political theater. Now, I've always asserted that the reason I'm an independent is because I dislike most people in both parties, Jeff. It's just the fact of life. I don't care for them. And they're mostly what Gray Man's getting into, a bunch of losers. Losers.
Snoozers.
Then we've got this one here from
K-HUD.
K-HUD coming in. Look at this. CBDCs and other walled gardens will still need a stable, not manipulated asset. That's a good point.
That's a good one.
That is a good point. So that's a good point because it's like we used to print them out of thin air, which has always been digital anyway. They're not actually printing the money, but now they changed the name of it to a CBDC that's programmable, and it's like, oh, now we can create these, and like, what is that back? What is that pegged to, and is it stable?
Zero.
Nothing. Right?
At least with the paper currency, there was some semblance of privacy and freedom to do what you wish with your money. Now with it, CBDC, fully programmable, fully controllable. They do whatever they want to you. It's amazing. If we didn't learn anything from the past couple of years, it's that when they want to shut you down, they'll do everything in their power. And now, if left unchecked, the insanity of the ESGs and all the other chaos that they want to impose on companies, it's just left unchecked. They decide, oh, you use too much gas, use too much electricity, you bought too many groceries, you went out to eat too many times, you got on the airplane too many times, whatever it might be.
Don't give me any ideas,
you voted
Jeff.
the wrong way, they shut you down. That's the beauty of decentralized finance. Get that infrastructure, put all the voting on the blockchain, one person, one vote. You want to vote from home, you sign in with a thumbprint, do a retina scan, do something, and you can vote. I still believe, though, shouldn't be voting from home. You have to come to a location. That way they prove who you are. They make sure that you're not voting under coercion, that someone isn't knocking you out and voting for you, whatever it might be.
Wow.
You got to come to the polling place. No more voting by mail. Put it on the blockchain. One person, one vote.
I like it, Jeff. I think we're in unison
There you
thought
go.
there. So let's get into this, guys. I want to talk about the badass Yeti. So drum roll, please. I can't play
There we
the drum
go.
roll 'cause I'm...
What is the drop date of
What is the
Badass
drop date,
Yeti?
Jeff? Well, that's funny. It's actually the same as tax day. It's actually Tuesday, the 18th. It would be this coming Tuesday, guys. Finally, we've been talking about this forever and a day. The Badass Yeti is launching 589 of those badass boys.
Badass.
And where is it going to be launching? It's going to be launching on none other than, hang on a second. Let me get the drum roll here.
We're glad you asked.
Let's get the drum roll. Where's the drums? Man, Jeff, I don't know. Gosh,
See,
here we
I
go.
don't have control of it. So.
It is right there. It's going to be
There
launching
you go.
the cafe.
XRP Cafe, you don't say.
Cafe on XRP Ledger. Okay, thank you very much, drummer. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming. But it's going to be on XRP Cafe. Great bunch over there. Really incredibly helpful, especially with Jeff and I being newbies on this. They were tremendously helpful. But that's just xrp.cafe. And it'll be launching here. And next Tuesday, this Tuesday, I should say, you will see the Badass Yetis up
Less
top.
than a week.
In a week, getting ready to launch, man. So less than a week. Yeah, like 6 days away.
The 17th.
That's pretty
18th.
exciting. And you can see these are some of the projects that are here. So it's it'll be nice to be amongst some really great performing projects. And
Look at that.
there's a lot of punks and terror teddies and core apes and bored apes and ripple apes and a lot of apes. So we have Yetis. I wouldn't really call. I think they'd be offended if you call them apes. They're Yetis. You know what I mean?
Yetis are kick-ass.
And
They're badass.
They're badass, Jeff. So there you go. Upload your mint images. Let's do this. So
It's gonna be awesome.
yeah, so let's take a look at what the Yetis look like. I'm gonna kind of pop through here, and we're just gonna go through here, man. It's just kind of like see what these guys look like. Oh, I'm gonna flip through them pretty quick here. You get there's 7 tribes. Look at those cute little buggers, right? Just incredibly cute. These are the Pathfinders right here.
They're brutal, cute, and brutal.
And
Gotta be
brutal,
careful.
man. They look so cute, man. You go like, oh, that's so cute. And the next thing you know, you're you got three seconds to live. I mean, that's just how it is with these guys. So cute little buggers, though. These are the Templars. Look at the Templars, man, holding on the fort.
They have short little swords.
Powerful though, Jeff, those swords. Yeah. So these are the Templars here. Get into the next guys here. These are the Frostbeards.
There
they are.
So terrifying.
Shiver Spines.
These guys, on the other hand, are absolutely terrifying.
Look at them. They're bad. You talk about badass. This is the epitome of badassery right here, Jeff. And then we've got what else we have here?
Are terrifying.
Then we've got the Mentalists.
The Mentalist. We love the Mentalist.
The way it works, guys, you go there and you'll connect your Zum wallet. If you look right up top here to the right, you connect your Zum wallet, and it's obviously easier to do if you can do it on mobile. You do it here. You connect your Zum wallet, and you go ahead, and it will be. The price is. Where's my drummer, Jeff? I just had my drummer. Did I lose my drummer already?
You lost the drummer.
The price will be.
Mark wants to know if he buys 2 Yetis, will they fight, leaving him with only 1?
It's possible, man. And the price is going to be 125 XRP. That is the floor price for the Badass Yetis. 125 XRP. You can get one of these bad boys. And so these are the Mentalists. The way it works is when you mint them, you're just going to get something random. You don't know what you're going to get. It's kind of cool. So you can actually collect all 7 of them if you want. And we're also going to be doing giveaways here on the channel. We do doing giveaways over on Twitter.
That'll be
And
fun.
we're going to be doing some joint giveaways with and partnering with some other awesome projects out there. So
That's right. Those guys are cool.
spirit walkers, I should say. These are the spirit walkers. Cute little buggers. And let's go through a couple of these bad boys. But you guys kind of get the drift here.
After we go through the badass Yetis, we should talk about free steak. Because steak is good. Love
Should
steak.
talk about that. I think I missed one in here somewhere. Maybe not. Frost beards. All right. I think that's all. That's all of them.
all of them. Uh-oh.
What happened?
Uh-oh. My lights just went out. Man, I can't get lighting anywhere. There we go.
It's all
Fired
right.
up again. Got
That's
some
all
more
right.
lights.
So anyway, guys, that is the badass Yetis. So look, I mean, you asked how you get them. That's how you get them. I'm looking forward to it.
That's
And
how you get
hopefully,
'em. That's
Jeff,
where you find them.
I hope we end up
Sweet.
on this chart, at least somewhere on this chart. It goes into 10. I hope
number
we
one.
end up in the
Number
top
one.
10, guys, and hopefully
Number
with your
one.
support. I expect there's always in the top 5. Mostly it's number 1, but then it's always oscillating.
We've been number
And
one.
and if you think about it, like here's the Bored Apes XRP Club, and the floor on these ones is 370 XRP. Take a
Holy
look at
cow.
those guys there. And then if you look at, like, let's say the Ripple Apes Club, these are 29 XRP. So the prices are kind of all over. Here's the Z Punks. Z Punks are 18 XRP. But that just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. Look at the Wen Moons, the X Clowns, all kinds of cool stuff over there. Yeah, so we're excited to be launching an XRP Cafe on the XRPL, Jeff. Really excited about that. So very cool. Very cool, I should say. Very cool. Let me jump back to the chat here. Did I miss something here? I think I missed something.
Very cool indeed.
Okay, there we go, right there, man. Gray Man says, give me 2.
Give me 2.
Yeah, man. Well, that was a weird thing too. Is like one of the things when you mint these, there was like a thing where you could say like, you could actually, how much would you limit it by wallet? We're like, nah, you can't limit it. I mean, if somebody wanted to go in and buy them all, I guess they could. I don't know, but yeah, we don't want to limit. Yay, we don't want to actually limit them.
No, can't limit how many you get.
You have a couple. I want one with red eyes. Yeah, there are ones with red eyes, K-Hud. There definitely are. Jeff, you're at a One Direction concert.
Yep.
The Man in Black, Jeffy Cash.
At a One Direction concert.
Jeffy Cash. I don't know where One Direction came from. How do you think credit unions will fare when compared to? Well, this is a good question by Frederick Carpenter. How do you think credit unions will fare when they compare to small and regional banks?
Wow.
Credit unions are pretty stable, and quite honestly, because they're pillars in the community and they tend to have been around for a long time, they're a little more conservative on the loan side, but you can get really good rates, and they're not driven by a lot of, let's say, profit centers where the larger banks. So there's kind of, they cater to more of a community, just like the community banks do. But I do think that, I don't know if they're going to be threatened. I think they're usually pretty well run. So that'll be interesting. Jeff, your thoughts on that?
The small banks versus, I think the credit unions are going to continue. I think the small banks are being threatened by the big banks. I think the objective of the blue team is to go with a one bank system, or maybe a big bank system, I should say. Maybe Bank of America, JP Morgan,
Wells Fargo, Goldman
Wells
Sachs.
Fargo. And then there's some ancillaries that might be gobbled up. I don't know. You have Capital One. They used to be ING over here, and then Capital One bought them up. I don't know what's going to happen internationally, but we're just thinking about what's going on in the U.S. I think Chase, JP Morgan is on a national scale. Obviously, Bank of America is on a national scale. I don't know about like Key Bank. Is that more like Midwest to Northeast regional type stuff? I wonder how those fare. But you have some small banks, like, you've got like the Space Coast. I think that's a credit union.
Yeah, there's one here
in
right
Florida.
by my house.
You've got so I think the credit unions will keep going, but the SVBs of the world, not faring so well.
Yeah, and of course, riskier lending practices, not a lot of good risk management there, and the whole too big to fail concept. I think actually the regional banks, I think, will fare pretty well. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
have moved their money into more regional, local banks. I think like it was Bank of America that got like a $15 billion in people moving their money, or you move to like Wells
Mhm.
Fargo or a Bank of America or a Chase, something along those lines, one of the top three banks. But it's interesting to know this one here from Gray Man. He says Yeti rule, all the others not so good. That's what he's saying there. So, well, we should
Hey,
we
you know
shall
what's
see
interesting?
we shall see.
So Chip, Larry something says, I think digital art is distracting from the real usage of NFTs. And I kind of agree with him that the digital art or art in general use of the NFT specifically for art is a distraction from the real use case. However, it's the current use case and it's the test bed for the real use case of NFTs. I think based on current regulatory climate, I think it's exceedingly difficult to see the full utility of the NFT. But I do believe that as we see the normalization of NFTs, and it has to start someplace. So why not start with art? If you digitize the art, you show ownership of the art on blockchain. It's almost like you're showing a fixed asset. So instead of it being just a token, hey, I own XRP, and I can see it represented on the blockchain that it's in my wallet. Now you actually have a physical characteristic of your ownership on the blockchain, which is your NFT. Now imagine when you think about all the use cases like Larry's referencing are infinite. It's amazing what we'll be able to do with that representation, but it has to start somewhere. So is it a distraction from the real use case, or is it the beginning of the real use case? Little baby steps. And I think it's actually the beginnings of the full expected use case of the NFT. One of the potential outcomes of an NFT is going to be from when you vote. Why not have an outcome? Here's who I voted for. Now it's represented in my NFT, and it's recorded on the blockchain that I voted for these people, and here's proof. I have proof of ownership of my vote.
Yeah, I would think it's more tied to like real estate purchases,
That too. Yep.
yeah, I would think that would be more. Look who the cat dragged in. None other than Mr. B, who's in here. Which this is probably a good time to show this. Oh, look at this. Well, and I'm sorry about that, Mr. B. Like I forgot the underscore or whatever's your name. I tagged some other guy that's not you, but that happens. It's really weird. It's like you start typing and then you grab it and then you end up with something else. I'm like, I saw his picture. That's not him. Why is
Did
that?
you show him the free steak he's going to buy us?
So having a nice fillet tonight. The next one's on you guys, and this is Alex and also Mr. B here.
Oh, look
And
at that.
just look at that goodness, Jeff. I gotta say
Look at
that
beautiful steak.
Yeah, and I just thought, and when I thought about it to myself, like, hey, this is gonna be awesome when we have that free steak dinner there, Mr. B, because settlement ain't happening, right? So I mean, if it does, then it would be great. But no matter what, we're all winners. I mean, if we go settle, I'll be like, that would be the best bet I ever lost. But it's not looking so good, Mr. B. What say you? Look at that. Isn't that great? And this is exactly how I pictured it, Jeff. A nice fillet, little side of potatoes with some beautiful crunchy asparagus.
Yeah.
And a little bit of rareness in that fillet. My gosh, is that fantastic or what? DM Logic said, tell Nick I said hello. Hope you guys are having a great time. And I'm like, I'll see Nick the next time after he loses the bet. So there you go.
I see Nick at the steakhouse.
And look at Matt Hamilton did the drooling picture there. The drooling one. And then Dalton was like, that's mighty nice looking. So there you go.
And
there you have it.
Chip, that was a great picture you took of that steak.
Right? And I'll tell you what,
iPhone.
It's going to be just even more beautiful when we get to taste it right here.
We'll
Right?
have a picture of Mr. B, Alex, you, and myself around our steak dinners. We're all winners. We get a beautiful steak dinner. It's just ours is going to be free.
Look at K Hut here. He says, two guys in South Florida create mountain Yetis. Must be a hot summer dreams.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't it
that
be
is
nice if we
funny.
lived in snow-covered mountains
Right. I mean, it's like,
instead of beautiful sandy beaches?
yeah, and then we're creating the mythical Yeti characters and with a crazy backstory and all kinds of goodness there too, man. We went deep down that rabbit hole. We're like, here's the best part of this, guys. When you actually create one of these and mint one, it comes with a unique name. Only that Yeti has that name. And because sometimes it's missing vowels, you're going to have that pronunciation. So there's a whole cool vibe going on here with these badass Yetis. It'll have a name. You know, who wants to own, you know, badass? I mean, of course, 589. Everyone wants that one, but who wants badass Yeti 7 or 10 or 26 or, you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
you got to have that name, man.
And the
The
dark
name
again.
is the name is cool.
This,
Appreciate
My
that,
car
kid.
keeps-
Yeah.
my car keeps shutting everything off.
What's going on with that, Jeff?
There we go. Even if I leave my car running, it decides to shut off after like 20 minutes.
That happens sometimes, man. That'll happen. So let's get to the heart of what we were talking about here.
I don't remember.
Well, it was on tonight's thumbnail, but here you go, right here. This is the Financial Services
Oh, we haven't
Committee.
talked about that yet.
No, not yet, Jeff. We've been talking about all kinds of stuff. I
the
teased
last
it though. A lot of
3
times we
minutes.
tease it and we never get to it. So at least we're at least there's that, right?
Title, thumbnail.
The whole
As long as it's
thing.
mentioned in the beginning.
never
of the
talk
video,
about it.
That's all that matters.
So like people call out like, "Hey, I was waiting to hear about that." I'm like, sometimes that
Wait
happens.
until the end of the video, and you might hear about it.
You might. So this is new. Chairman Patrick McHenry announces a full committee hearing to conduct oversight of SEC Chair Gary Gensler.
There we
Read
go.
more
Now we're
about it here.
talking.
This is the most exciting news I heard.
All
And
day.
so look at this right here. Today, the House Financial Services Committee, Patrick McHenry, announced the hearing. It is going to be Tuesday, April 18th. Coincidentally, Jeff, the same day we're launching the Badass Yetis.
What do you know? It was planned that way.
And we just should let those badass Yetis run rampant all over that courthouse. Can you imagine the picture, the scene
you?
that?
Can you
What that would look
imagine that?
like? Holy
And
cow,
chaos.
Jeff.
The chaos that would ensue. Badass
yeah.
Yetis all over.
Yeah, no more softball questions. No more like, hey, when you wear a dress, you like blue or green? You know, none of that kind of crap. You know,
Well, you never know.
when you're in that creepy room, what are you looking at? You know, I mean, it's like when you
Is the fireplace real?
when you get up in the morning, do you have scrambled eggs or do you like fried eggs? It's just the most ridiculous questions ever. It's like, no, we're not going to be doing that. Of course,
right. Gary,
of
what
course
time
there's-
is tea time?
yeah, it's like the dumbest things you could ever have. So I was pretty excited about this. That's a good development there, Jeff. You gotta love that. I also love this. This was a good one. It's kind of a funny one. This one here, we had also YouTuber Zach Rector. He said, XRP Vegas is at Treasure Island. There are no coincidences. And Matt Hamilton said, yeah, no coincidences. And those involved in the Valhalla nonsense try to see connections and everything. Thank fuck they're not holding at the Golden Nugget. Holding it at the Golden Nugget. Jeez. That's funny.
The
That
nugget
would
is
be
gone.
the Golden Nugget. Is it gone, Jeff?
I don't know.
No, it's still there. It was,
Wasn't that one of the oldest casinos in Vegas?
yeah, it's still there. It's over on Tremont Street. Yeah, it's like
Man, you even
Yeah,
know
I've
what
been in
street
that.
it's on.
Fremont, sorry. Yeah, well, it's the whole Fremont sort of like covered cool thing, the old Vegas. I actually like the old Vegas
I don't even know.
better than the new Vegas. I've only been there twice. And it was working both
Vegas
times,
sucks.
and it's kind of like it's like a fake city, Jeff. It really doesn't make much sense.
It's a fake
I-
city like Dubai. Dubai's a fake city, just like Vegas.
Well, but Jeremy Hogan, who's not really known, who's known for his funniness and his videos, put this out. He put a tweet thread together, the big battle between the SEC and crypto, a thread. Lots of comments are below, suggested that it's a no-brainer and asked, why is that taking the judge so long? Not true. This is a nuanced legal battle, which the future of crypto as we know it may hinge. And
point.
it goes on to say that in response to Ripple's argument that there is a contract to have an investment contract, the SEC cited a number of cases in which, to one degree or another, there's no formal written agreement. And the argument here is that the Howey covers almost any investment purchase, and he's highlighting it here and the filing, defining the scope of the market, wish to regulate, blah blah blah. And then Hogan goes on to say what the SEC is really arguing is that the prongs 2, 3, and 4, when taken together, supplant the need for the elements of a legal contract. In other words, Howey doesn't require a formal contract because the common enterprise and expectation of profits is the contract analysis.
Interesting.
Unfortunately for Ripple, the SEC had early success in crypto cases on this issue in cases in which the crypto companies did not raise the post-loss obligation issue. But luckily for Ripple, Judge Torres hasn't put too much weight so far on what her colleagues have done.
Interesting.
Looking at the SEC's counter arguments and cases, you can see why lawyers think that Ripple raised this issue with an eye towards obtaining an appellate ruling. I disagree. There's enough in the Ripple briefs for the trial judge to rule in its favor. It rests on one thing. Drumroll, Jeff. Want to know what that one thing is?
What is it?
Decentralization, something we talk a lot about here on the chain.
Never heard of it.
The reason why the other case is lost, because looking at the purchase of the crypto from a traditional standpoint, it smells like the strange type of investment / purchase that Howey was supposed to capture, but it's not. Because in a traditional purchase, it would make no sense for someone to buy an asset without having some legal recourse if the seller screwed you over. But a traditional purchase is made from a centralized entity. Historically, sales of securities are from centralized sellers. And so the difference in crypto is that it does make sense to purchase crypto because it is decentralized. No one owns the network. And so it makes sense because someone might purchase XRP as an investment without having a contract with anyone. This is also a key differentiator.
You don't say.
And this is why I believe, this Jeremy Hogan saying this, that the judge for her wonderful law clerk understands the technology. Ripple wins on this issue. If the judge doesn't grasp what crypto is, well, then we might be looking at an appeal of the issue. But this is the line in the sand. This is the issue that saves crypto in the US, because a Ripple win on Howey analysis is a big setback for the SEC, but not a dagger in the heart. But it's not necessarily a no-brainer. The Howey test is outdated. It just needs an upgrade. Hopefully, our mechanic is up to the task. What do you think about this, Jeff?
What I think is we need Howey 2.0.
Or the Ripple test, right?
Or the Ripple test. One or the other, whichever one comes first. But I have a feeling it's going to boil down to an outcome of the Ripple test. And Jeremy Hogan brings up some very critical points in relation to all of it. And, it's interesting, the dynamics that we're facing. And actually, I saw a comment here from Frederick Carpenter. He said, there's no need for regulation regarding XRP because it was declared a digital currency by the Justice Department back in 2015. But the issue, I think, that we have with these agencies trying to declare something as an asset or creating some sort of regulation or regulatory path or clarity on it, I think, is that they might have declared it that the CFTC wants to maintain control over that, but the SEC is fighting back, and we currently have an unfriendly administration in the White House that is also trying to take full possession of that. And they are also allowing these unelected bureaucrats to run rampant. So I think in the previous administrations, they kind of ignored this asset class. They kind of just let it go. And it wasn't really until 2020 when the outgoing chair of the SEC decided to drop the bombshell of this lawsuit. So we're seeing a cross of two administrations. It just happens that this one has become extremely detrimental to the growth and existence of digital currency. Now, can we rely on the Justice Department making a declaration? I don't think it's enough. And
No.
although Crypto Hulk might be talking about it, I think that we have to go a step further. And here's a perfect example, because if it was so clear, then the brilliant minds of the Ripple legal team would have presented that and said, case over, we can all go home. But we need more. We need more clarity. We need something specific, and it either has to be through legislation by Congress, an act of Congress that gets voted on and passed, or it's going to have to go all the way to the Supreme Court to put a finality to it. So there's no discerning dissension. You can't say, well, I believe this and you believe that, so it's, now we're just going to have a battle of the wills to see who's better. It has to be very, very clear, which is why around the world, Chip, like in Singapore and the UK and elsewhere, they're coming out with legislation that is very clear on what the digital assets are and how they interact within our economic infrastructures. And I think that that's really important to have that clarity. What say you, Chip?
I want to get to this comment here. No one's talking to, I think you're referring to this comment. There's no need for regulation.
Yep. Right.
Well, first of all, you might want to get up a little bit earlier in the morning and review 3 years ago when this first dropped, and Jeff and I called attention to it. So did plenty of other people. Maybe the only one talking about it now, but it's already been talked about, and by a lot of YouTubers. We're not the only ones. And and by the way, Crypto Hulk's also talking about Ripple Singapore that went out of business in 2016, saying that it would only be seen on his channel. Right about that as well, because nobody else is talking about that. So here's a Ripple lover right here. This is Michael Mystic. He says Ripple is a fiscal winner. That's what he's saying there. He loves Ripple so much. He also says the SEC is not a powerful entity on the planet, or it is a powerful entity on the planet. So
Frederick Carpenter said, he said, Chip, then talk about it some more. How about that, Chip? We just talked about it.
Yeah, we did talk
about it.
We've been talking about it for 8 years, man. I mean, it's like, holy cow, man. We talked about that. And also, too, they got fined. And also, too, there was the Justice Department. I mean, my God, man, this is like old news. It's nothing new. Right. They got fined, and, they had to do an audit for 5 years. So, yeah, it's and with the CFTC as well. So, come on, man. In the Department of the DOJ there. So it might be disastrous for the SEC to appeal. Yeah, absolutely. It would be disastrous, I think. Look at Oscar. He comes in. Oscar, you watching the whole show, man? Because you review.
It's like fire and ice.
Fire and ice, man. Manly drinks. We covered that at the very beginning. So I don't know, man. I mean, don't tell anyone, but Jeff sometimes does night shift as a secret agent. He's also currently doing a stakeout while doing this simultaneously. He's got Chip in one ear and the president in the other. Which president? I think we need to find which president, because one president doesn't have a clue.
Could you imagine?
Jeff, last week a tweet went out by a certain president, and it was like just like when you lean on the keyboard, and you fall asleep, and you hit tweet. Kind of how he talks. Yeah, there you go.
He talks like he's tripping up the stairs.
The former. There you go. There you go. There you go. The former. There you go. It's
former.
XRP is good
to be again.
But try going shopping with it.
Former, current, and future.
Well, it depends. If you got an uphold card, you can shop with it all day long. So, James Rule famously, and James Rule's the only one talking about that. No, I'm just kidding. But James Rule is always taking his XRP. He's always taking his uphold card and spending it everywhere, and it spends his XRP. You can attach a currency to it, and that's how you do it now. Eventually, you will, but you can go grocery shopping with that. There's plenty of. There's a couple other places too that you can load up your XRP, attach it to a card, and go spend your XRP. There you go.
Michael Murphy said, "Could it be what I ate for dinner while I'm outside?" Well, I did have some bibimbap for dinner tonight, which was amazing. Last night I had bulgogi, which was great. So
all right, sounds good, man. Well, and on that note, Jeff, it's time to end.
I've been upgraded to the right side of the screen. How about that?
Who's that? Oh yeah, we kind of get off today. It's kind of a weird thing, man. It's kind of a weird thing, but that happens. What are you gonna do? I just let it roll,
Frederick
Jeff.
Carpenter.
See, now you've been relegated back to the left side. What are you going to do,
I'm on the
Jeff?
left side.
I like to be on the right person. That's why. Fellas, you're great, informative. But time to go. I agree with that. And with that said, it is time to go, guys. We are out of here. Jeff, any final words before we get out of here?
Final words.
Final. What do you got? Final. Give us some final something, Jeff.
Dan Moriarty reminds us that you can buy pizza with your Bitcoin.
Hey, Bitcoin to buy the pizza, huh?
Buy the pizza with your
How about
Bitcoin.
the pizza? Okay. Well, that's all I know, guys. And we are back on Saturday. Remember, Tuesday, April 18th, Badass Yetis launching on XRP.cafe. Guys, Chip and Jeff out. See you guys on the next one. See ya.
See ya.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.